Hello everybody, very warm welcome to the panel discussion, Voices of Transformation Technology.
Whatever we design as a smart transformation needs data. And these data we can only capture when we develop technology to do so. We have heard that we need a lot more data, whether it's on climate, on complexity, on healthcare system, whatever it is, we need more data. Technology will provide the means, the tools to collect those data. We have also heard that once we do that, we will generate an enormous amount of data, terabyte. We will have incredible piles of data that need to be evaluated, that need to be categorized, they need to be manipulated not manipulated in a negative sense, they need to be condensed, they need to be used to make sense out of them. This is something that we also discussed here. We'll need new technology in the digital world, big data. And this is something that we have tools, but we will need a lot more of those. So I think this is where technology will add to the challenge as well. And the third is that once we have analyzed the data, for example, by help of artificial intelligence, we need to develop technology to offer solutions to the problems. This is something that has been referred to here as invest out of the crisis or innovate out of the crisis. Now, innovation needs technology. But I should also mention this is not only the technical innovation, as we have discussed before and also here, it will need a lot of social innovation as well. It needs to have an understanding that it is not just about having technical tools, having the problem identified, have the data. It will also need us to change our behavior. But that's the challenge of the future.
I think you see when you look at the press and when you look at all the political statements that science and technology is really in the center of discussion. We need innovative solutions, and since we are mostly working virtually right now, I think information and communication technologies are really increasingly supported, and we need to learn new platforms. Wolfgang mentioned already the big data. This is something what is really, really necessary. But when you look for patient treatment, artificial intelligence, robotics, these are topics and areas which will make a big difference in the future. And certainly, many other technologies from many areas will help us, to go through this crisis. I think what you can see everywhere, we have a race for vaccine. Everywhere where you look, technology, innovation, and even research is something which is very, very, very respected and accepted right now.
What we will have to learn from the area of the arts is how to deal with ambiguity, uncertainty, how to deal with abstraction and contradiction. These are things artists are producing or provoking even. And in a world that is like never before dominated by uncertainty, by ambiguity, by insecurity. We heard this climate crisis, which was brought into the back right now in the last few months. This is a massive field of uncertainty, or also automation, robotics, artificial intelligence. People, of course, have a feeling that they must fear these new technologies because they are threatening their life, how they are used to live. They are possibly threatening jobs. And so it's not the question to ignore all the changes we are facing. It's only a question how to deal with the changes.
I think it was a natural next step, going from fundamentals, the theme of this year, to transformation for next year. And I think we have seen even optimistic features, that it will be a lot more obvious to see the participatory part of working together across disciplines, technical disciplines certainly, but also across other less used to collaborate disciplines, like with the social sciences, with the arts. And it is something which I think will need the inclusion of the people. And there were a very optimistic feature for me today at Alpbach, and I have been here in Alpbach now for 12 years. For the first time, I've really seen that there was a dialogue between political decision makers and scientists in both directions. I mean, typically, we just take whatever the policies will tell us as a given and try to maneuver what we think is needed for society and for the future. But here I had the feeling that there was a mutual listening, and that is something that I think we should continue. And with this, there is maybe then even something that would be a citizen science contribution also to policy making. And for me, that would be something we potentially could work out in more detail also next year.
I think we can only help to tackle the global challenges when we work interdisciplinary, and that is also the basis of any transformation process. So bringing people from many different disciplines, like we also are here, that is the key in order to satisfy, all the different aspects of transformation. For me, we discussed about policy making very short. It is clear that we have to improve, how to make better policy decisions, and also scientists, I think, have to learn to speak the correct language when discussing with decision makers. And the last thing, which I always think is really, really important, is we have to work towards an implementation. We shouldn't just sit around and talk. We should really see what can we do with a platform? What is the next step? How can we implement some of the steps for the transformation process?
Interdisciplinary dialogue is part of the DNA, as far as I know, of Alpbach. So I was here already as a student, and then also the last 15, 17 years, it has changed, but it always was in the center that people from different areas, from politics, from social science, from economy, are coming together and talking together and really listen to each other. This is very rare in normal life, let's say. And this is an unbelievable treasure, and this treasure should be used for this transformational century we have. And we urgently need this, not only listening to each other, but also in the next step try to synergize the different views. Only by synergizing different knowledge and different views, we can really master the challenges we have. And it will be really great challenges. But we have the chance, and civilization shows us that we always did overcome these challenges. But it's not natural. We have to struggle, and we have to go the right way. And we have the chance now to go and to follow the right track.